Good evening. The August 23, 2022 regular meeting of the Everett Public Schools Board of Directors is now called to order. Director Mason will be presenting the land acknowledgement this evening.
Thank you. We respectfully acknowledge that we are on the traditional lands of the Coast Salish, Snohomish, and Tulalip peoples. We express our deepest respect and gratitude to the ancestors of this land, on whose shoulders we stand. In Everett Public Schools, we strive to create equitable outcomes and build a culture of inclusive belonging for all students, teachers, staff, and community.
Thank you, Director Mason. Please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Madam Secretary, will you call roll?
President Lassane.
Present.
Vice President Mitchell.
Present.
Director Nichols. Director Mason.
Present.
Director Herman.
Present.
Thank you very much. Our first item of business is the adoption of the agenda. Dr. Saltzman, would you introduce tonight's agenda?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair, Board of Directors, and to the public this evening. Tonight's agenda contains the following: a segment for recognitions, the superintendent's report, a segment for board comments, segment for public comments, segment for routine business, segment for new business, segment for upcoming agenda items. Since publishing the agenda, the following changes have been made. Item 7.01, the superintendent's report, the presentation was added. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Saltzman. Is there a motion for the adoption of the agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Seconded.
It's been moved by Director Mason and seconded by Director Herman. Sorry about that. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll now proceed to the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The ayes have it. The agenda is adopted. We'll now move to section 6.01, which is the most admirable portion of this meeting. And I see Dr. Scott is already at the podium. Dr. Scott, you have it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, President Lassane, Board of Directors, and Dr. Saltzman. It is indeed a treat for us every year to be able to introduce our new administrators to the board. Each of them comes highly recommended from their previous districts. They were interviewed and vetted using the targeted selection process, which matched our needs, our organizational needs, with their skills and experience. This is our recruiting class of 2022. They are an outstanding group, and you're going to hear from them tonight. Each of them will be briefly introduced by their supervisor, and then they'll share their big why. Why do they do this work? What brings them joy in this work? So I'll start with Dr. Pete Meisner. Pete can come up. Pete is the regional superintendent for Region 1 and our new chief strategy officer. He comes to us most recently from Highline Public Schools, where he was the executive director of instructional leadership. He's also been the director of the Danforth Leadership Program at the University of Washington and has been a principal and teacher as well. Pete's excited about his new role because he gets to align his personal and professional time to serve the Everett School District community. And as a father of several kids in the district, that makes a lot of sense. So Pete.
Thank you, Dr. Scott. Good to see you again, Board. Dr. Saltzman. My joy in the work is when I get to observe students and staff working together to go into that learning pit. I'm going to try harder. I'm going to take a risk. I'm going to stretch. And when I see that effort and the vulnerability that goes along with that, and then the deeper learning that results, that just affirms to me and brings me joy. My why is that I want every student in Everett Public Schools to feel inspired, to achieve, and to be thriving, as our strategic plan calls out. And how do we do that? We do that with an equity focus. We know that we need to do things more and for some and do differently in order to get consistent results. We need to be focused on student learning, and we need to be collaborative. Thank you.
Okay, next is a familiar face, Dr. Kathy Woods. Kathy is the Regional Superintendent for Region 2. She's worked in Everett Public Schools for 21 years in a variety of roles, principal of Gateway Middle School, Cascade High School, and most recently as the Director of College Career Readiness and On-Time Graduation. Kathy's also been a principal and teacher in other districts out of state. She's excited about this new role because it gives her the opportunity to impact student learning pre-K through graduation with a phenomenal team to eliminate barriers to ensure that each student thrives. Kathy?
Thank you, Dr. Scott. Good evening, members of the board and Dr. Saltzman. Muchas gracias por la oportunidad de servir a los estudiantes, directores, maestros y personal de las escuelas públicas de Everett. Gracias por la confianza que me han mostrado. Many thanks for the opportunity to serve the students, the principals, the teachers, and the staff of Everett Public Schools. I want to thank you for the trust that you have shown in me. Nothing gives me greater joy than to see students learn and thrive in environments where they truly belong and are honored for who they are. It's a great honor for me to be able to serve in a role where I support principals, teachers, all staff, and our whole system as we work together to ensure that each child learns to high standards and that they find joy in the act of learning. Thank you very much.
Gracias.
Good evening. I have the privilege of introducing 3 new members of the fiscal team tonight. First of all, I'd like to introduce Megan Gunder. If you could come up and join me. She is the new procurement supervisor for the school district, and she joins us from the healthcare side of the industry. She worked for the senior value analyst at Evergreen Health, and she was also the procurement supervisor and supply chain supervisor at University of Washington. And so she brings us not only a different perspective, but she's also familiar with public procurement. She's excited about her new role because she brings years of experience to this setting. And while she's used to serving patients, she's excited about serving students. So please welcome her and let me have a few words.
Thank you. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Dr. Saltzman. Thank you, board. My why is helping support our district procure the right supplies and services to ensure that our staff have the need to successfully support our students, all while complying with the state and district laws. And also the joy that I see in the students at the end of the day, knowing that they've had a successful day with the supplies that we've had for them and the teachers as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Becky. Thank you, Megan. Next, I'd like to introduce Becky Thomas, and Becky is our accounting supervisor. Becky comes to us from the Snohomish School District, where she spent 8 years working with another one of our neighboring partners, and she brings a considerable amount of experience, and she is excited to join a team and take on new challenges, and certainly wants to support all the administrators she works with. Becky.
Thank you, Jeff. Ian Saltzman, thank you, and the board. My why is because I love accounting, and accounting is the backbone of our society. I have chosen to spend my accounting career serving students and nonprofits because in this line of work, numbers really matter. I know that at the end of the day, if I help to make the numbers come out right and can make sure the resources are available for our educators, the students will end up with a very high quality education. And with that education, they can open so many doors for their futures and for generations to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Becky. Next, Carly Voitsberger. Carly has been with us for 5 years. She's worked within the payroll department, and the one thing about our district is we are very focused on providing new opportunities for excellent employees, and Carly is certainly an example of that. Before that, she did work in the private sector, and she's similarly, she's really focused and enjoys the work within payroll benefits, and she's excited again to help the customer service applied to all of our employees. So Carly.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Dr. Salzman and board. I'm really excited to have the opportunity to be in this role. We're combining our payroll and benefits team, so there are a lot of good opportunities for improvement. And my why is to serve our staff by ensuring that their payroll and benefits are accurate so they don't have that worry and they can focus their attention on our students. Thank you.
Good evening. It is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Greg Smith, our Director of Facility Maintenance and Operations, rather. Come on up, Greg, please. Greg has extensive experience in facilities and maintenance, operations, and construction with the King County Library System, as well as a large Northwest banking institution for many years. Greg's letter of interest indicated when he applied for the position that he mentioned his positive, upbeat attitude and calm demeanor. I have found that to be true, and also that he is a good listener, honest, open, and professional, and that he loves boats and things that you do with boats.
Thank you, Mike. Dr. Salzman, trustees. My why is I'm so happy I'm able to help provide a nice, comfortable environment for the children to thrive and learn in. And also, I'm the guy that is, when it's too hot in here, I'm the guy you call. When it's too cold, I'm the guy you call. When the roof's leaking, I'm the guy you call. You get the theme. When the weeds are too tall, I'm the guy you call. So anyways, I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, school board and school board members and Dr. Salzman. I'm really happy to introduce Beth DeGrace, who is our new special education, special services director. And Beth comes from us directly from Mercer Island, but she's also worked in Seattle and also has spent a lot of time in Wisconsin. And she's really excited about making sure that students are getting exactly what they need, when they need it, and where they need it. And I'll let her tell you what her why is.
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Dr. Salzman and the board. I'm really excited to be here, and I took some notes, which is why I brought my phone up here. But I just want to say I'm really honored to be a part of a community that is so truly focused on why we're here, students. And my why, I have a why that is really passionate about making sure every student gets to live their best life. And it really starts with in our classrooms. The support they receive, the care they receive. And so with a whole child perspective, just thinking about special services, just making sure all students have what they need, where they are, to be able to live their best life. Thank you.
I'm excited to start the introduction of some of our amazing new school leaders. So I'd like to invite Tori Dowdy to come on up. Thank you, Tori. Tori is serving at Lowell Elementary as the assistant principal. She comes to us from the Arlington School District as a teacher and a teacher leader, but last January she came to Everett and serves as an interim assistant principal at Emerson. Tori is excited to be here to use her leadership to serve students and families. And I think she's really excited to get to start the year from the beginning and go to the end. Imagine starting in January. Just remember that. So, Tori?
Thank you, Pete. Thank you, school board, and thank you, Dr. Salzman. The joy that I have in education is just getting that chance to build relationships with community, families, and students, and seeing that aha or light bulb moment whenever we're working with them. My why is to advocate for all students to be able to reach their full academic and social emotional potential, and then eventually teaching families and students how to advocate for themselves.
Thank you.
And it's my pleasure to continue the introduction of our school-based leaders, starting with Mr. Kurt Gray. Kurt is assistant principal at Everett High School, and he comes to us from the Toutle Lake Junior Senior High School. He's also worked in the La Center and Longview school districts. He's excited about his new role at Everett High School because he's energized at being part of the success of all students and staff at Everett High School. Kurt?
Thank you, Dr. Woods, Dr. Saltzman, and board members. My why is everybody needs a champion. Every student needs a champion, and I'm here to be that for every student at Everett High School, as well as Everett in general. I needed that when I was in school, and I'm here to provide that for every student at Everett High. Thank you.
Thank you.
He's the champion at the School of Champions. Next is Steve Hopkins, who's the principal at Jefferson Elementary School. Steve comes to us from the North Shore School District, where he served as principal, assistant principal, and teacher for 22 years. Steve is excited about being able to serve in the community where his family lives and work for our dynamic school district that supports kids, including his own 4 children.
Thank you, Dr. Woods, Dr. Saltzman, board, honored to be here. My why centers around the opportunity to lead a school community that rallies around each child, each and every child, creating a welcoming environment, creating a sense of belonging, valuing the inherent dignity of each child. And when that's in place, we can do great work with helping them grow as learners. And I've seen that firsthand as a parent of 4 children who are in the district. So I'm very excited to be here.
Thank you.
Next, it's my pleasure to introduce Miss Sarah Idle, who is our principal at Evergreen Middle School. Sarah comes to us from the Reynolds School District in Oregon, where she served most recently as principal and previously as an assistant principal. She's also worked as a middle school teacher and instructional coach in the North Clackamas School District. Sarah is impressed and excited about working with folks here because of the high level of professionalism, high achievement expectations, and the support provided in Everett. Sarah?
Good evening, Dr. Saltzman and members of the board. First of all, I just want to say I'm so excited to be here. Second of all, when I think about how we interact with our students, I go back to PBIS tenets, and one of them is unconditional positive regard for all of our students. And one of my heroes, Dr. Shiraki Hawley, who is involved in culturally and linguistically relevant teaching, says it's not enough to have unconditional positive regard for our students. We need to have outrageous love. When students feel seen and heard and safe, we can move mountains with them, and I want to be part of that work. So thank you.
Thank you.
Next, it's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Irina Kurilenko, assistant principal at Silver Lake Elementary School. Irina comes to us from the Mukilteo School District, where she was a world language teacher teaching English, French, and Russian. She's been an instructional coach and a dean of students. She's excited about her new role at Silver Lake because of the opportunities to learn and grow together in the Everett Schools community.
Good evening. I'm excited to be here tonight. I am a passionate educator that strives to build relationships with students that last a lifetime. I have 26 years of international teaching experience, teaching from age 3 to college level. Through my personal equity journey, my culture, my upbringing, my professional and personal experiences, I built a dear set of core values of excellence and equity. I believe that every student can reach her or his maximum potential. Also, I learned that equity is not always all about opportunity or access. It's about giving people what they need to succeed and to thrive. So seeing students succeed, making them, their parents and teachers proud, becoming leaders of their learning fields makeup. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Irina. Next, I'd like to introduce Rich Middaugh, who's the principal at Everett Virtual Academy. Rich comes to us from Liberty Elementary School in Marysville, where he served as principal for the last 5 years. He's excited about his new role because it gives him a new opportunity to grow and learn from a bigger system with supports. He's also excited about the challenge of leading the virtual academy and serving students and teachers across our district.
Thank you, Dr. Woods, Dr. Saltzman, members of the board. This starts my 19th year in education, and I constantly reflect on what is my why. And my why is always going to be deep down that kids need love. They need to feel love. They need to get that hard love. They need to get that, very compassionate love so that they feel comfortable enough to take risks. But not just them, the staff. The staff needs to feel it, so they'll be out in front and they'll be doing the things that they need to do so that they can make that difference for our kids. And I'm happy to be a part of this new system. I'm excited for this new opportunity, and I'm just looking forward to it. So thank you.
Thank you.
Next, I'd like to introduce Dr. Camille Mora, Assistant Principal at Everett High School. Dr. Mora came to us in February to serve as Assistant Principal at Everett. And like Tori, I think she's excited about having a full year start to finish. She was previously at Enchelium High School as a teacher leader and also taught in Coopville at both the middle and high school levels. Camille is excited to serve our students, support our staff, and to create opportunities for success for all of our students. Dr. Mora?
Thank you, Dr. Woods, Dr. Saltzman, members of the board. What brings me joy is watching students have opportunities to succeed, and especially at the high school level, being able to watch them succeed in their different areas of passion. We offer so much, especially here in the Everett Public Schools, and to be able to see students take advantage of those opportunities, help them find their opportunities, and lead them to the things that make them happy brings me joy. My why is that I want to increase equity and opportunities for all of our students and to serve school staff at the highest level so that they can provide everything our students need to be successful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And next, I would like to introduce Medgar Wells, Assistant Principal at Evergreen Middle School. He's got fans. Medgar also joined Everett Public Schools, our team last year, serving as assistant principal at Whittier Elementary School in the spring. Prior to that, he was a K-8 principal in Federal Way and assistant principal and principal in the Seattle and Kent school districts. He is excited about his new role because he believes that Everett Public Schools is truly committed to equity, collaboration, and diversity. Medgar?
Thank you, Dr. Woods, Dr. Saltzman, directors. My joy, is when you ever had that aha moment, to see that in kids, that brings me joy. My why is rooted in the word treasure. So I believe that every student has a treasure in them, in which not only do they deserve a place at the table, but there's a treasure inside that we need what they have to offer to bring to the table. So that's my why. And I'm just excited to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.
And next, I'd like to introduce Andrea Yee, who is our assistant principal at View Ridge Elementary School. Andrea joins us from the Seattle Public Schools, where she served as a consulting math teacher and math interventionist at a dual language school. She's excited about the learning and partnership with her principal and moving the equity work forward at View Ridge Elementary. And as an Everett Public Schools graduate, she is excited to serve in this community.
Thank you so much. Growing up in a multilingual, multi-generational household, my why is really centered around ensuring that all students have equitable and really just and authentic learning opportunities to be seen, valued, and heard. And I find the most joy engaging with them out on the playground. And with staff, I would say that that building relationships so they understand their own why, so they can build their collective efficacy is something I'm looking forward to. And as my grandma would say, oh, hohoi sama, oh, haido. I'm very happy I'm here. So thank you so much.
A graduate coming back. All right.
Well, good evening, and it's my pleasure to introduce our newest administrators here to Everett Public Schools. And to begin, I'd like to introduce to the board and Dr. Saltzman, Laura Breen, Assistant Principal at Gateway Middle School. Laura comes to us from within the Everett School District family, where she served for the past 25 years. Laura has taught math at the middle level and at the first and second grades. She is excited about working in her new role in Everett because she strives to make a positive impact on each student and loves helping teachers improve their instruction.
Thank you, Mr. Fleckenstein. Thank you, Board and Dr. Salzman. My why has been about kids. I love them. I love to see them grow. I love to see them get excited and to bring in their families and every resource that we can give to them so that they can be the best that they can be, because education is the ultimate equalizer. It gives everybody the opportunity that they can choose what they want to be as they get older. So the better we do it down at the school level, the more opportunities they get when they get older. So that's my why. Thank you.
Thank you.
And next, I'd like to introduce Christopher Dahl, Assistant Principal at Heatherwood Middle School. Chris comes to us from ESD 113, where he has been a special education director. He previously has worked in the Kitsap, Central Kitsap, Edmonds, and Lake Washington school districts. He is excited about working in his new role because he is glad to be a part of a district and school community focused on high quality instruction and student support.
Thank you so much for the chance to speak. My why really centers around evidence-based and inclusionary practices from my work a lot in special education. And I believe in supporting teachers in that work, making it accessible for them so all students can access rigor and we can close gaps. Thank you.
Thank you.
And next, I'd like to introduce Claudio Hara, Assistant Principal at Tambar Creek Elementary School. Claudio comes to us from Chile, South America, originally via England, where he lived until he was 12 years old, before he returned to Chile, and then he lived in Dallas, Texas for the last 16 years. He is excited about working in his new role at Tambar Creek and in the state of Washington because it has brought him into a new environment where he can further learn and grow as an educator.
Thank you for having us, Dr. Saltzman, board. Thank you for taking the time to listen to us. My why and my joy are connected. I'm in this not because I have to, but because I need to. Education has been in my blood since very young. I was one of those kids that could have been lost. I was one of those children that could have not been given the opportunity. But I was lucky enough to have specific teachers who made a mark and gave me opportunities, which is what I want to do for all the children in Everett. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And next, I'd like to introduce Elizabeth Sanchez, Assistant Principal at Gateway Middle School. Liz came to us mid-year last year and has been a great addition to our regional team. Liz comes to us most recently from the Seattle Public Schools. Her professional experience includes being a special education bilingual teacher in New York City, a school leader for Washington Charter Schools, and is a former Peace Corps teacher volunteer in Mexico. She is excited about working in her new role in Everett because she is ready to learn about middle school, leadership preparation, and our student-focused instruction.
Good afternoon, Dr. Salzman, board, and community members. My joy and my why are also together because as a leader of color, it is important for me to represent not only a certain community, but to also give the tools to my students, the voice to be able to advocate for themselves, and to also bring questions and thought to my team members so that they can see things from a different perspective and approach different ways of reaching students and community members. So I'm thankful for the opportunity to be part of Everett Public Schools. Thank you.
Thank you.
And now I'd like to introduce Pacomius Schmidt, Assistant Principal at Eisenhower Middle School. He's also known as PAC, by the way. Pat comes to us by way of the Edmonds, Bellevue, and Federal Way school districts where he has been privileged to work as a secondary math teacher, elementary teacher, instructional coach, and a middle school assistant principal. He also taught math and multi-language learning in East Asia. He is excited about working in his new role in Everett because he knows that he'll be working with colleagues in a district and community who shares his own goals and values.
Thank you, Mr. Fleckenstein. President Hussein, Dr. Saltzman, board. I am really proud to be part of a school district that's done the good work of identifying its core values, especially with student learning in the center and a lens of equity. My why is that I love how schools are the center of community, where we get the opportunity to celebrate the successes of our students and our families, and where we also get the opportunity to support those same students and families when struggles come their way. I am proud and excited to do this work alongside all of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And finally, it's my pleasure to introduce Kate Bafaizadeh, Assistant Principal at Eisenhower Middle School. Kate comes to us from inside the Everett Public Schools family, where she has been a student teacher, a teacher of ELA history and avid courses at Evergreen Middle School for the past 10 years. She is excited about working in her new role in Everett because she wants to help support teachers and staff in their work to support all students to achieve at high academic levels.
Thanks, Larry. Dr. Saltzman, board. Y'all, I'm so excited to be here. 10 years ago, Larry hired me to teach at Evergreen, and I can't imagine working in any other community. This is the best community, and everybody here cares so deeply about kids. As the wife and the daughter of immigrants and the mother of a young man with disabilities, my passion is bringing students from marginalized communities into the center so they have equitable opportunities at education. And every student, I think, what would I want for my child? What would I want for all of my kids? And that's really my why. Thank you.
Thank you.
So this concludes our presentation of these amazing new administrators. They brought, I know that you heard, they brought a depth and a heart and the skills and experience and passion it takes to do this work. That's why we hired them. That's why Dr. Saltzman supported them all the way through the hiring process. And we are just so excited to see the impact that they'll have on our students and our community. So if we can give them a great big round of applause.
Thank you so very much. I look forward to seeing all of you in the schoolrooms, on the campuses, or in the CRC in the future. Thank you for coming this evening. We'll now move to section 7.0, which is our superintendent's report.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Board of Directors, and to the public. First of all, just a point of privilege. I want to thank the cabinet and the HR department because I always circle November 1st and ask them to get me the best and the brightest or whatever it takes, even if we have to tap our friends to the right or to the left of us. An amazing class that we have in front of us. We promised to bring the best to Everett, and we did. We asked what student interns we have, who we've hired in the past 10 years to teach, who's ready to be an AP, and get me a map across the country. So thank you to the HR and to the cabinet for the great work, because I know we start this in November. And I know you don't like it sometimes when I tell you that, but it's paid off, so thank you. Okay, wow, summer doesn't stop. Last Thursday was a great night, an example of perseverance. Congratulations to those 31 summer graduates. And thank you to the entire system. It takes everybody to get those kids across the stage. Everybody in the school system. So thank you. Stuff the Bus. Is that an amazing event or what? The Everett Public School Foundation was able to gather donations, pack and deliver over 3,400 backpacks to our students and families. It makes a difference to be able to begin the school year having supplies for everyone. Thank you to our families, staff, community, and to our board for volunteering, donating, and supporting the foundation and lending a hand to those students and family who need our assistance the most. And when we talk about equity, we want to be in the forefront, and we certainly were last week. Rave reviews from staff who attended our first Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Summer Institute. Great job to our DEI department, Ms. Joy Grant and her team for this educational and informative and most inspiring event from the feedback that I got from staff and teachers. Thank you. Last Wednesday, the Community Resource Center was buzzing with activity. Over 100 people attended, and guess what? Many hires and potential hires walked through our building. Our Human Resources Department came together, answered questions, assisted with applications, provided excellent customer service. Great job. And how many did we hire, Chad?
We hired 29. 29 jobs. We signed up 33.
Awesome job. Thank you.
Good job.
Summer Leadership Institute. What is the Summer Leadership Institute? That is where administrators and staff get together to learn new things and train together and get inspired for the work. Believe was our theme for the Summer Leadership Institute. It was wonderful having everyone come together and meet new leadership, hear inspiring keynote speakers, and kick off our preparation for the new school year. Congratulations to Peter Scott and Shelley Bowden for helping make that happen and for everybody that contributed. Thank you. You know what yesterday was? New teacher orientation. My gosh, were they nervous yesterday waking up? But I remember 34 years ago going through the same thing, and what a great group of teachers that we are bringing to Everett. I was excited to welcome the new teachers. Thank you, Captain Lassane, for your warm speech to those applicants and our new group that's with us. Thanks to our team that were all there on events and Twitter, and to Mimi Brown for an amazing job putting it together. Nothing stops over the summer. We have summer projects going on. Our facilities, grounds, and custodial teams have been busy this summer. Just to name a few of the projects, Silver Lake has a new playground. The grounds crew have worked hard making our school exteriors look great, and the custodians have been doing the same on the interiors. Excuse me. The new chiller for Gateway Middle School is being installed to replace the original one from 1994. So thank you to our community and to our maintenance department, Mike Gunn. Thank you. Everett Memorial Stadium. Did y'all hear about that? It was featured on ESPN Radio. Students, families, and community came out on August 15th for the grand reopening of the Everett Memorial Stadium. It looks fantastic, and I cannot wait to see our student athletes competing on this incredible field in 15 days. Thank you. And thank you to the board for your patience tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Salzman. What a great start. We'll now move to section 8.0, which is board comments. And the purpose of the board comments is to share what directors have been and have encountered through their work in the school district and how it pertains to the work that we do. So I will start at the far end and we will circle back up this way for board comments.
Great. Thank you, President Lassane. I just want to say that I hope everyone had a chance to rest and unplug this summer. A big thank you to district staff, Dr. Salzman and President Lassane, for putting together last week's school board retreat. I also wanted to just comment again how great it was to hear from the student panel and having them share their insights on SEL. I think that with our student reps on the board, and if we can keep that student voice and continual feedback of what students are experiencing in front and center, it'll help us be a better board. I'm excited for this year, but recognize that our families and staff, all of us are still navigating COVID and those guidelines. So just a continued emphasis on health and safety should always be at the forefront of our decision-making, and just continued grace and patience. I was at Jackson High School yesterday morning as devices were getting signed out, pictures taken for ASB cards, and it was wonderful to see students and families back on campus. The process seemed to go really smoothly. And when I stopped by today, they said that over 1,500 devices were issued. So hats off to the Jackson High School staff, and just really excited. That's it.
Director Mason.
Thank you. I had an opportunity to attend the new track at Memorial Stadium, the grand reopening. And I just want to thank the facilities team for doing such an incredible and phenomenal job. I can't imagine. I mean, we're going to be the envy of every district around us with that stadium. And I know that the athletes and all the coaches are going to be very excited. Certainly the highlight was watching the first ever mascot race, which was really fun. They did a great job of organizing the event, Danny and her team. I also had, I had an opportunity to attend the summer board workshop too. I guess that's what we do. I think my highlights, I would concur, is that speaking with the students was definitely one of my favorite opportunities. We just don't, as a board, have a chance to do that very often. It was easier when I had kids in the home. I could ask them questions, but it was really great. I felt like their insight and their authenticity and candidness about the topics that we asked about, which were a little bit sensitive, I guess, you know, when you're talking about their social emotional journey through our school system. It was just really a great discussion and opportunity to hear from them. And I have to say, one of my best takeaways of the summer board workshop is also working with all of my colleagues here on the dais. We unfortunately don't have a lot of opportunities to get together because we have to publish a meeting every time there's more than a few of us together. So to be able to sit and talk about how we want to do business and what our priorities are, I think is really important, refocusing especially after these last several years where we haven't been in person a lot. So that was really wonderful. And then lastly, summer graduation last Thursday. It's a special graduation. We get a chance to hear a little bit about each graduate and their journey to the stage. And we don't get to do that when we graduate 1,200 students in one day in the springtime. So it really personalizes it. And some of these students have really had quite the journey. And it just reminds me again of why I love this work and how important it is to get them on that stage. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Mason. Director Mitchell.
Yeah, I too really appreciate what the district does for us. And in our retreat, while it's not on YouTube or Zoom, it is a public meeting. So we're following all the rules, and it is sort of nice to engage that way. But I really am proud of us because this year, really in the 8 or 9 years I've been on the school board, was the first time we really looked at the schools for which we picked to be the board liaisons. And traditionally, we'd always pick the ones that our kids went to, were in our neighborhood. And we really looked at all 3 regions and said, which elementary school are we going to pick in the north? Which one are we going to pick in 1, 2, and 3? What middle school? What high school? And all of us now serve a school throughout the district. And just that we do serve this district as a whole. And I really am proud that now I will see Emerson Elementary School as much as I see Penny Creek, where my daughter went. And so it is to just open my eyes and our eyes to really how each of our schools is so special. I will just a little bit. My husband said, today, school starts in 2 weeks. From tomorrow. I said, why do you care? Our daughter starts next Monday. And he goes, because most people in this community care. And my daughter is currently in South Bend, Indiana, on her journey back to Pennsylvania for her junior year. And I have seen bus drivers out practicing their routes on my street and through Mill Creek. And so, we are getting ready to go back to school. And just because all the leadership really talked about their why, my why is very big, but I'm going to I abbreviated it here. I was raised in public school with a mother who was very focused that I received the best education. And she gave me that belief that students have the right to an exceptional public education. And I think the how is through all of this, the administrators we saw here today, the teachers that are in our district, the staff, you guys all do the how. And Dr. Saltzman, thank you for recognizing what the foundation does for the Stuff the Bus. This is the 13th year of the event. I am humbled to say I was there at the beginning. I was able to give 10 hours to it this year. I believe when we started this 13 years ago, we needed somewhere between 500, maybe 300 to 500 backpacks. And this year we need 3,200 backpacks. That is a big lift by this wonderful community we live in, business partners, but it really does show the need of our students, that it has changed over time. And I am just very, very thankful that we have the support and the staff that supports those students, no matter their background. So that was a little bit long. I appreciate the time.
Thank you very much, Director Mitchell. Oh, a lot has been said, and I'm not going to repeat everything. The board retreat was wonderful. The student panel was exceptional. Summer graduation was fantastic. We got the kids across the finish line. We're looking forward to continuing that work. The new hire orientation I had the opportunity was superb. And I do want to repeat, if it were not for the teachers, the staff, the administrators, who are our greatest assets, we could not do this work here. Kids, you touch them all. All of you, from the teachers, the staff, the custodians, everybody touches these kids and ensures they have all the support and resources to get over that finish line. And that's why we're here. That's my why. I'm looking forward to the start of school. I am looking forward to all the buses coming down the street. Also, and thank goodness, the city of Everett is paving the streets around my house now. I feel it in my car every time I go home, just so that the buses can run smoothly down the street. So I'm looking forward to that work being completed and start of school starting. So thank you. And that's enough board comments for this evening. We'll now move to section 9.01, which is public comments. And tonight, I understand we have no requests for audience comments. Is that correct? Yes. We shall now move to the next item, section 10.0, which is our consent agenda. Dr. Salzman, would you provide an introduction to the consent agenda for this evening?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Madam Chair, and to the public and to our board of directors. The board's consent agenda includes repetitive business items such as meeting minutes, personnel actions, expense vouchers, surplus lists, gifts, grants, or current contracts. Sometimes it includes items that occur less frequently but are of a routine business nature. These items are usually reviewed by the board in the Friday report, 1 or more weeks before the board meeting. This gives directors time to ask staff questions or to consider a discussion about the policy implications of those items. The board votes on the consent agenda in a single motion. By its definition, a consent agenda is not debatable. In the case of this consent agenda, the superintendent's office received no questions. The consent agenda is presented as published for board approval. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Salzman. We have a very, very large consent agenda, but a motion to adopt it is now in order.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Director Mason and seconded by Director Mitchell to approve the consent agenda. Does any director wish to remove an item from the consent agenda and place it into new business section of the agenda at this time? Hearing no requests, we'll now proceed to the vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The motion carries. The consent agenda has been approved. We'll now move to section 11.0, which is our strategic monitoring section. There are no strategic progress monitoring reports scheduled for this meeting. Moving to section 12.0, which is information and discussion, we see that there are no information or discussion items scheduled for this evening's agenda. Moving to section 13.0, which is unfinished business. We see that there is no unfinished business scheduled for this meeting. We'll now move to new business, which is section 14.0, which is the first item on this section is the adoption of resolution 1282, our operating budget for fiscal year 2022-23. And Mr. Moore has the podium.
Been a few months.
The summer break provided a little rust on the PowerPoint skills. Thank you for that assistance. Happy to be with you, President Lassane, Dr. Saltzman, Board of Directors, for a brief presentation tonight and recommending approval of Resolution 1282. The reason it's a brief presentation is we're going to, for our constituents, allow them to see the prescribed process for adopting the budgets, but also inform the board and our committee our public that since our presentation on June 28th, we've had no public comments and there's been no changes to the data or numbers presented therein. And so then I'll just briefly go through what we presented that night. Again, to remind our public that school districts of our size are required to make our budgets available publicly by July 10th. And we also have a commitment because the statute strangely called for the hearing and the budget adoption to occur on the same day, maybe two at most. So what we do along with other large districts is we provide all the information upfront in June, as we did on the 28th, so that we can receive public comments and gain feedback, of which we've received none. So I'll move quickly through slides that you may have seen before, but also reinforce that that this information is available within our website for those who would prefer to view it and go back to the June 28th meeting. So again, our general fund balance, we anticipate ending this fiscal year with a 9.8% ending fund balance, which would be 35.6 million. We're going to utilize those funds to accelerate learning along with our ESSER funds this year for recovery. We see ending at about 24 million or 23,775. So we will be utilizing fund balance down to a level of 6%, which is our commitment to you as a board and to our community. Following that, we'll be addressing potential reductions in the future. Again, we are budgeting conservatively. We're hoping that our enrollment returns, but right now we're looking at being about 31 less students than last year. We will know within 2 weeks about how our results will be, and we hope that our students return so that we can get them back into our buildings. Budgeted revenues, as we pointed out, the significant differences for the last 2 years, we've seen this influx of federal dollars, and those will dissipate, and we will not be spending as much ESSER funds or ARA grants for special education this year. And conversely, with the large state cost of living increase, we see those salary increases in our state funds as well. Budgeted expenditures, again, that matches that same picture. You can see that our federal dollars are down and that our basic education, which is considered state dollars, are up, along with special education, that portion of it. So we expect that shift to come back to normal in the following fiscal year. Expenditures by object, as you can see, we're over 85% of what we do is provide services to students. So accordingly, that's where our money is. And when you see supplies and materials down, that again is all the PPEs, the plexiglass, everything we put into our buildings to help us through the pandemic to this point. So when we look at that 4-year outlook, we have an ongoing commitment to maintain 6%. We'll be assessing our revenues and expenditures as we get into the year, trying to understand where our legislature is going, hoping for more federal relief, and we will again be back with you later in the fall to give you an update. So moving on to other funds, we talked about the capital fund. The only thing I'd point out here is that we do have, as you can see, a multi-year projection, which is required within the budget. But you can also see that the fund balance is increasing over the years from 10 million to 33 million. And that's primarily because, as you've learned, but our public should know, is in order to do some of these larger projects with a capital levy, we have to collect those funds and build up the reserves to build those new schools. So that's the only thing I'd point out here. Multi-year forecast for the debt service funds. I think what I'd point out here is we've paid off all outstanding debt except for the bonds that we sold as a result of the 2016 bond. So primarily we're relying entirely on the capital levy. And so you can see the big drop in our debt service payments, and they'll maintain that level for a number of years until we so choose to seek additional voter approval of bonds. Associated student body, it's starting to come back to normal, but the years of worrying about too high of fund balances, I think that's ironed out, and those kids don't even know what we were talking about because they've been out for 2 years. And finally, the transportation vehicle fund, as you saw in the consent agenda, we created the capacity for the purchase of 3 electric buses this year. And none of this information has changed, as I mentioned from our last meeting. So I would recommend that you seek approval, or we'd ask you to respectfully approve Resolution 1282, adoption of the fiscal year budget.
Any further questions?
I have a couple questions real quick.
Okay.
Just reminders, rustiness of summer vacation. On slide 8, the early learning increase, is that due to state or federal funding to increase the number of classrooms for early learning in our district?
It's mostly ECAP.
Yes.
Yes.
And is that all state funded?
It is funded
Or is it
the state through the county. So it's,
because isn't in the new federal package, there's an influx to increase early learning?
there is that commitment.
But
We
that's-
don't know that to the
right.
extent now, so it's not included in this budget, but there is a capacity if we were to
Yeah.
receive it in this fiscal year.
Okay. And then my other question was the increase in the special education funding on slide 8 as well. Is that due to recent legislative increases where they, I think, changed the percentage?
It's due to, no, it's not due to that. It's more due to increased enrollment, and it's also due to the increased salary push through for those particular staff units.
Okay. And then my last question is, what was state IPD this year?
State, the IPD for the following year is 5.5%.
5 point for
The
all-
actual IPD was 2.8, but the legislature approved a catch-up for the gap between prior year budget and actuals, and they increased it to 5.5 for the year moving forward, yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Are there any further questions? Is there a motion to approve the adoption of resolutions 1282, adoption of the operating budget for fiscal year 2022-2023?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It was moved by Director Mitchell and seconded by Director Herman. A public hearing on the proposed resolution is hereby open. Are there any public comments on this item at this time? As there are no public comments, the public hearing on Resolution 1282, adoption of the operating budget for fiscal year 2022-2023, is hereby closed. Board comments are now invited on the motion before us. If there's no further discussion, we'll just proceed to the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The motion carries. The board now approves resolutions 1282, the adoption of the operating budget for fiscal year 2022-2023. Thank you very much, Mr. Moore. The next item in this section is 14.02, which is policy 3122. Mr. Fleckenstein, come forward.
Well, good evening. Proposed revisions to policy 3122 attendance are provided to comply with House Bill 1834, which relates to student excused absences for mental health reasons and amends RCW 28A 300-046. House Bill 1834 states that the rules defining student absence must categorize an absence for a mental health reason as an excused absence. In order to include these revisions to students and families prior to the first day of school for this 22-23 school year, we are requesting the board consider the proposed revisions to policy 3122 attendance be adopted upon a single reading of the school board in the best interest of the district. Proposed revisions to policy 3122 attendance have been reviewed by legal counsel and the superintendent's executive cabinet.
Thank you very much, Mr. Fleckenstein. Are there any questions regarding this procedure, this policy? Because it is an immediate action required, first reading and adoption is being requested at the same time. All those in favor of going forward and accepting the adoption of it, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, say no. The first reading and adoption has been approved. Thank you very much, Mr. Fleckenstein. Please don't leave the podium, as I see that you are also on the agenda for policy 2213.
Thank you. Proposed revisions to policy 2213, transitional bilingual instruction program, are to comply with House Bill 1153, which relates to language access in Washington's public schools. House Bill 1153 envisions family-centered solutions with specifically designated funding. This House Bill language stipulates a number of policy changes for districts and schools, as well as increased professional training and credentialing for interpreters and translators in the educational setting. The purpose of these revisions are to provide our MLL students with a more supportive and effective educational experience in our classrooms. Proposed revisions to policy 2213, transitional bilingual instruction, have been reviewed by legal counsel and the superintendent's cabinet.
Are there any questions, board? We'll then move this to second reading. By general consent? Yes. Thank you. You can move on to policy 4218.
Okay. Proposed revisions to policy 4218, language access plan, have been prepared for your consideration to comply with House Bill 1153, which relates to language access in Washington's public schools. House Bill 1153 envisions family-centered solutions with specially designated funding. The revisions to this policy include changing the title from language access plan to language access. Proposed revisions to policy 4218, language access plan, have been reviewed by the legal counsel and superintendent's cabinet.
Are there any questions on policy 4218? One thing I do note in this particular policy, and I'm very grateful for it, is the focus on relationships, where the district, it requires that the district or the schools seek to understand families without judgment on an individual level. And I really appreciated that being put in there. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Shall we move this to second reading by general consent? Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Fleckenstein. We'll now move to section 15.0, which is our upcoming agenda items. Dr. Salzman, what's planned for our upcoming agenda items?
Thank you, Madam Chair, Board of Directors, and to the public. At the September 13th regular meeting, the board agenda will contain the following: a summer update, basic education verification, school stakeholder survey data review, 2022-2023 bid list, and the interagency agreement with City University. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Salzman. We'll now move to section 16.0, which is executive closed section. And this meeting does not have an executive or closed session. So we'll now move to section 17.0, which is adjournment. This concludes the business schedule to come before the Board of Directors this evening. Thank you very much for your attendance.